Congratulations on the purchase of your new Weber infrared helmet. Today we're going to do a quick video just to review assembly of the helmet once you have received your unit. So what I've done here, I have actually unpackaged all of the cords and all of the cables, including the power unit that come with the infrared helmet. They all come inside this carrying case here. So I have removed everything and I've actually labeled some things to make them easy for looking at today's video. You will notice that there is some color coding here and actually some labels which do not come on the unit. You can always add those yourself just to make it easy for future assembly. But I'm going to quickly review what the different parts are. So first of all, we obviously have our infrared helmet here. This is our demo unit for the practice, so it is already in use. And we went ahead and used the Velcro pieces that come with the helmet to stick the foam inlay to the sides. And essentially to do that, you just have to get those little Velcro tabs and you just stick them directly on the helmet on the sticky side, which you can see right here. So we stuck the sticky side down, and now when you put in the foam inlay or any other of the foam pieces, because there are a couple different sizes that come in, you can easily attach and detach that foam on those Velcro sticky dots. And if you want to apply a bunch of them all around the rim, you can do that. They're not too difficult to remove, so if for future use you ever needed to switch them out or they became less sticky, you can definitely do that. So this is the helmet, and then of course we have here our right angle connector. So this has already been attached to the helmet, but essentially with this right angle connector, what you will see is it makes a right angle, and you want to make sure that you line up all of the prongs just right so that it fits in. And then once you have pushed in that right angle connector, you will screw down that little bolt, which we've already screwed it down here, but you should feel that it screws all the way down, and that's how you know you've made a good connection and everything is super secure. So we've got the helmet plugged in to our right angle connector, and this cord here, it actually has another part to it, and this is what we call the Y cable. So it makes a Y here, and from this juncture we have two different cables. So for ease of use for our staff, we have actually labeled color here just to make it easy, but you have to make sure that you get the right cables connected here from the Y cable to the other power units. So we have a black cable that comes right off, and this is what you're going to want to connect to the little power control unit. This is the plug that you use to power this, which is the control unit for the helmet. So to differentiate this cord from this one, obviously the unit itself is much smaller, and you can feel that the cord is actually flat and it's thinner than the cord that comes out of this one. So we're going to take the small box here with the thin flat cord, and we are going to connect it to the dark or the black cord coming off of your Y cord there. And then the white cord that's coming out, we're going to connect that to the big power adapter, which actually is what powers the helmet. So that end is black here, and we're going to just connect those two. And then there is one additional cable here. This is what we plug into this power adapter from the helmet. So you can see here there is some prongs that match up with the end of this. So you're gonna just stick that end into here, and then this and this are what you plug into your wall, and you do want to make sure that both are plugged in, so you can use just one outlet with two different ports to plug those in to actually power your helmet. Now we can see here that I have plugged everything in like we discussed. So I have our right angle connector plugged into the helmet. It's nice and secured and spun tight. Then I have our Y cord here with the black cord coming off of it plugged into the smaller control unit power cable. And then I have our white cord here plugged into the thicker round cable, which is going to be attached to the power adapter for the helmet. And then last but not least, I also connected the cord that gets plugged into the wall, which of course is what powers the helmet. Once you have plugged your unit into the outlets, you should hear a song come on and the screen will pull up just like this. So this is how you actually configure the details of what your infrared session will be. From the left here, you can see there is an intensity little bar. So right now, this is actually on full intensity, and you can tell because there is a gradient going from very light blue to darker blue. If I wanted to lower the intensity or just change it in general, I would actually just tap my finger directly on. So in doing that, it's sort of hard to see on the video, but essentially the gradient has gone away. So this means the intensity is all the way low as it can go. If I want to increase the intensity, I will just tap that again. So that is one step up, that is halfway, that is 2/3 of the way, and then that is full intensity. Next, we have frequency here. So 0 Hertz is the continuous wave frequency, which is typically what we recommend our patients to use unless you are on a specific protocol. So if you wanted to change this, however, you would just tap on the box and then you could type in whichever frequency you wanted to do. And then in order to save that, you would just click OK. Next, you see the number 30 up here. That is the length of the session. So if you want to lower that amount, you would click on the circle and then you would just type in whatever length of time you want the session to go for. 30 minutes is typically what we recommend people starting with. Again, unless you're on a specific protocol, like if you are a sensitive or older user, you might start with something shorter, like closer to 20 minutes. But if you wanted to change that, you would just hit delete, which would clear out the amount of time that was already in the field. And then you would type in the length you're wanting, and then you would just hit OK to save the changes. So now we have our full intensity with 0 Hertz frequency set to 30 minutes. So because we have it set to 30 minutes, the helmet will actually cut off automatically after the 30 minutes is up. So to start our session, we are just gonna hit run/stop. And now you can see there is sort of like a red flashing light on the little icon on the side there, and our timer is going. If we go and look at our helmet over here, which I do have plugged in obviously, we can see that those diodes are on and they are active. So of course at this point you would want to make sure the helmet is placed on the user's head. If you wanted to use the inlay and strap that under their chin just to make it more secure, you can certainly do that. One important note with this is while a session is running, you want to make sure that you're never unplugging the helmet from the wall mid-session. What you always want to do first is pause by hitting stop. And then you can confirm that the session was stopped because the lights are now turned off. And then once you have done that, it is very much safe for you to go ahead and unplug the cords from the wall. If you wanted to resume your session, you actually can't resume it. You have to just start over. So if you remember how much time you had left, you could always change that right there on the time setting and you could just start with a new session. But yeah, that is exactly how you want to configure your control unit to make sure that everything runs properly for your infrared helmet. Enjoy.